Hello everybody, welcome. Steve Mills here. Welcome to my live stream, the Results Mastery live stream. We're streaming live today and it just blows my mind that we can do this, how the world has changed in the 31 years that I've been in business. But we're actually streaming live on Facebook, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, we're using something called StreamYard. We're going out on iTunes, Amazon Music, Spotify, and about 30 other places. It's absolutely remarkable, I think, the opportunity that is right now. Anyway, welcome. Thank you for your time in being here. And I'm here to make sure that you get the best possible use of your time. If you want to treat this as a lunch break and eat a sandwich or have a cup of tea at the same time, that's absolutely cool. But I'm here to talk to you about how to get more clients as a consultant. Now, this is a little bit specialist from a point of view of I work with lots of consultants, coaches, advisors, trainers, professional service firms, and so on. Now, if that's not you, don't worry, because everything that I'm going to cover today is pretty transferable. You could utilize this in most businesses, certainly in the B2B market, which is business to business market, but also the B2C, which is business to consumer market. So it would work, generally speaking, in most of those markets. So without further ado, let's press on with things, because I know you've only got so much time. We're going to go today for, somewhere around about 20 minutes, something like that. So, sit back, relax, draw your own conclusions. One thing I would say right at the start is my objective really is, I suppose, to try and impress you, in terms of my knowledge, which I'm hoping I can do. As I mentioned, I've got actually 31 years experience. I've worked with over 10,000 businesses, which totally blows my mind, and have helped them to achieve an average of 45%, which is pretty high actually, because, some of those businesses, not all, but some of them have taken my advice and then done nothing with it. What a waste of time that is. And so they've got no results. So that probably makes actually, if I remove those, that percentage would be even higher. Are you with me? So anyway, let's crack on. So, I want to introduce you to a system that I've developed, and I believe it's a really effective way for consultants and other businesses to market themselves. I believe one of the biggest mistakes that people make, apart from not doing any marketing or not doing enough marketing, is that they go straight in for the kill, straight for the sale. I get people all the time say, would you connect to me on LinkedIn? I look at their profile, make up a business decision. I go, yes. What happens then? 30 seconds later, they've sent me a 500-word message within LinkedIn trying to sell me something, even though they don't know who I am, what I do, whether I need them or anything. It's like going up to somebody in the street going, hi, my name's Steve. Would you marry me? No? Oh, all right. Then I'll go and ask somebody else. Eventually, I might find somebody crazy enough to do it, but it's probably not the best way of trying to, get a marriage. And we want a marriage of businesses, don't we? We want a marriage between my business and your business. And that's what I'm about today. I'm not trying to sell you anything, but what I am doing is offering you a free one-to-one meeting afterwards if you would like one. But listen to me. Listen to what I've got to say and then make your own mind up. If you do want that meeting, go to results-mastery.com, click on one of the gold buttons and get yourself booked in to a free one-to-one meeting. Okay, so you probably see from the wall behind me that the results mastery system is based on 6 different levels, a little bit like a pyramid. If you actually took that pyramid as like an upside down one, and you had obscurity, overcoming obscurity is the first level. This is such a big area, this obscurity thing. In fact, I'm going to go so far as to say obscurity is the biggest problem that small businesses face. Nobody knows about us. I've been doing this for 30 odd years. I've got probably in my social media and my email marketing best part of about 100,000 different businesses, which is a lot more than most people have got. And yet there are 3 million businesses in the UK alone. And I've worked in Singapore and where else have I worked? Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Saudi Arabia, Switzerland, Poland, Spain, you name it, and my database is minuscule compared with what it could be. But if you're like 99% of the businesses that I speak to, it's a lot bigger than yours. I hear people all the time saying, how many people have you got on LinkedIn? They say, well, I don't know, about 1,000. That's 1,000 out of 30 million people in the UK, and they've got 1,000 of them. Now, maybe they're very local business, and I get that. If they provide a service to hotel owners on the Isle of Wight, where I live, and they know that there's 10,000 hotels here, and they've got 10,000 contacts. In other words, they've got all the contacts. Then great, you've done a great job. But if you're like most people, then the answer is you haven't. So you've got to stop and grow this database. If I asked you about your email database, how big is that? Again, most people, I spoke to somebody the other day and they said, we haven't got an email database, but we've got a spreadsheet and there's probably about, 250 in it. I said, well, how long have you been in business? They said 10 years. 10 years, and you've only got 250 contacts that you can put out a marketing message to. What have you been doing? Really? I don't wish to be harsh or hard or superior in any way. I'm not. I'm just a normal guy, and but if I'd only got 250 people in my database, I wouldn't be doing too well financially. So we need to get more people. That's step one. We've then got to step two, consistently communicate with them. We got to keep in touch with people. And again, I hear people say things like, I don't want to bombard people. I don't want to, push too much. Why not? If people aren't interested, they'll unsubscribe. If you're on my list right now and you're not interested in what I do, just unsubscribe. I hope you do. I really do. I don't want to be emailing and social media and sending out messages to people who aren't interested. Why would I do that, guys? Come on. So we've got to be consistent. Now, consistent does vary from one industry to the other. If you're a funeral director, you don't want to be messaging every couple of weeks saying, anybody died yet that I can help? Clearly that's not the case. I say that very tongue-in-cheek, by the way. But the truth of the matter is, in most industries, we're doing far less than we should be doing. We should be keeping in touch with people. How? Well, you know how. You're going to keep in touch with them through email, through social media, through posting, through picking up the phone and calling people, through WhatsApp, through SMS, through meeting them. Maybe running events, maybe doing a live stream like I am today. That's how we're going to keep in touch with them. We're going to maybe do a video and send them a link to the video. These are all different ways that you can keep in touch with people really, really easy. Now, did you know, for example, you can advertise to people you're already connected to on LinkedIn? That's like advertising to people who are interested. On Google, you can put an advert on Google that is shown to people who go to your website. It's called remarketing. And that's the same, by the way, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and most other social media and SEO websites. So, there's lots and lots of opportunities. It's just, do you want to take them? Do you need to take them? Because we've got to get people to that stage 3. We've just connected to somebody on LinkedIn. We've started communicating with them. And at some point, hopefully, we're going to either push them away, which is good. We've got rid of people that we don't want, that aren't interested, or more likely and hopefully, people are going to get to know, like, and trust you. They're going to see that Steve Mills has got a seminar going. So they're going to turn up, even if they don't know quite what it's about. They know it's going to be good because they've listened to videos, they've seen emails, they've had communication, they've watched me on video a few times, and now they think they want to attend a live event. And now they think they want to book a meeting with me so they can have a conversation. That's the level 3 where they know, like, and trust me. Okay, I can't stress the importance of getting people to do that. We then need to get them to level 4. This is where they communicate back to us. So it's no longer me pushing out marketing messages to people. It's about them coming back to me and talking to me, be it through email, SMS, phoning me up, and so on and so forth. So we've got to get them to that level. And again, that really, I suppose, doing that comes down to the 3 levels before that. But it's almost a progression through this idea of connecting to people, consistently communicating, getting people to know, like, and trust you, and then they turn into two-way communication. Once they've got there, we've got to take that big step. Not until then, but we want to turn those contacts into meetings. This is really crucial, isn't it? All that work that we've done before is of no value whatsoever until and unless, as a consultant, we get to meet them. So we got to do that. We've got to think about how we're going to do that as well. Are we going to charge for that initial meeting? Maybe people would take it more seriously if we charge. Ever had anybody not turn up? Ever had anybody not turn up if you've charged them £250 to be there? No, I suspect not. So, not saying you have to do that. I'm saying you could do that. It's one way of looking at it. But whatever way you want to do this, what you want to do is to turn those contacts into meetings. A couple of things I think are really important at this point. And one is to make sure that you're meeting the right people. We don't want to meet Lucky Loos and tire kickers and people who are basically trying to grab a freebie. We want to meet people who are serious about growing their business. And one of the ways that I found that works really well in terms of doing that is to produce a pre-meeting questionnaire. And that make it not it's not going to take them hours to fill in, but it's not going to be 3 questions either. It's going to be a reasonable amount of questions so that they have to take, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 minutes, maybe up to 30 minutes to fill it in before they meet you. Why is that important? It's because only the people who are serious are going to do it. The rest of them aren't. The rest of them are going to go, oh, well, I can't be bothered. This is not worth it. And you want to, by this time, you want to be meeting people who know, like, and trust you. They've read your stuff. They've filled in the questionnaire and they're committed to being there at that meeting. Now, obviously, with the technology we've got right now, the best way is still the old fashioned way of meeting in person, pressing some skin, meeting people. However, sometimes that's not possible. I've got loads of clients that I've never met and never will meet. I've got clients over in Spain. I've got clients in Portugal. I've got clients in Poland. I've never met them, and I probably never will. If I do, great. And if I don't, that's fine. The second best is doing what we're doing now, which is an online meeting. I think that's better than a phone meeting personally. And certainly for me, it tends to convert better. So maybe that's because I enjoy it more. I don't really know. But anyway, we've got to get them into meetings. Once we're in that meeting, we've got to turn those meetings into sales. What is your conversion rate? What is your conversion rate of meeting to sale? Because if it's only 20%, right, you get 10 meetings and that equals 2 sales. And that's a really important number, by the way. If you don't know that number, have a look back over the last 6 months and see what your conversion rate is. And if you could improve that by 20%, so instead of getting 20%, you got 40%, which is a 20% increase, what would that do? Well, that would double your business. Double your business, guys, just by improving that one little thing. Yeah, all right, not overnight, but over time. Because, next month, instead of getting 6 sales, you get 12 sales. You with me? And if you manage to get it up from 40% to 60%, you grow your business by 200%. And you're still only converting 6 out of 10 instead of 2 out of 10. You go from 100 grand to 300 grand just by improving your meeting conversion rate, let alone about all this other stuff there. So this is really, really valuable. This could make a massive difference to your business. However, I've got a question for you. Out of all the 6 steps there, which is your biggest weakness? Because you might want to start working on that, might you? Is it overcoming obscurity? Is it communicating with people? And by the way, when I say people, I'm not just talking about new people. One of the biggest mistakes that I see, and I'm going to say that I've never, ever in 31 years, 10,000 businesses, met a company that are fully harvesting and marketing effectively to their current and past customers. We all spend all our time and effort trying to win new customers, which is the most expensive, time-consuming, difficult thing to do. There's a pot of gold. I'm telling you now, there's a pot of gold sitting in your business waiting for you to ask for it. And that is your current and your past customers. So ask. Okay, so that's a really big one. Now you may see underneath those 6, I've wrote 3 words: better, more, new. What does that mean? Well, basically it means this: the way you market yourself right now, you're getting a result. Whatever that result is, you might send out, I don't know, a weekly email. Let's look at email as an example. You send out 4 emails per month, and that gets you 10 clients. Now, the truth of the matter is that could get you 10 clients, or it could get you 100 clients, or it could get you no clients, dependent on what? Dependent on how effective your marketing is. I've known many occasions where I've helped people not only with email, it could be with anything within their market. I'll give you a perfect example. A client of mine who was an accountant over in Ireland was spending about €1,000 per month on Facebook advertising. I came along, told them what I thought to their campaign, and we increased the number of inquiries from somewhere between 25 and 30 per month to over 75 per month without spending a penny more on Facebook advertising. And that's what better means. You need to do it better. Now, you may think, well, how do I do that? Well, sign me on. Get me working with you. I'll help you to do that. Or, and this is a really important one, become a better business owner. Learn more about marketing. Again, I can help you with this. I run training courses in various things. So, if you want to work with me, please let me know. The next one then is more, because once you've got it better, why not spend more? or take, do more of it, whether it's picking up the phone, whether it's email marketing. If you're doing email marketing once a week and it's creating 10 new clients, even if you don't do better, and keep it the same, why don't you test the use of 2 emails? Would 2 emails per week produce 20 new clients? You with me? Because you're doing twice as much emailing, so you could, and I use the word could, get twice as many inquiries. And the same applies across the board. With my accountant client in Ireland, spending £1,000. If you spend £2,000, could that get him to 150? Maybe not. It might only get him to 120. But that's still highly profitable marketing. And then the last one I've got for you today is new. So if you're limiting yourself by going, well, we don't really do much marketing, Steve. We've got a website, and we post once a week on LinkedIn, but we don't really like social media. And we've got an email database, but we've only got a few hundred people in it. And, we don't want to bombard people, so we send them a quarterly newsletter. But we win most of our business from word of mouth, and we do a little bit of networking. Now, if you're anywhere near that scenario, all I can tell you, firstly, there's a massive pot of gold sitting in your business. I'll give you one example. If you've not got a referral marketing system, a plan, a process of winning business from referral, then there's a huge opportunity just there alone. So, that's about all I'm going to say. I really do believe that 99.99999% of businesses are massively, and I mean massively even, underselling, underutilizing, achieving from their sales and marketing results. So if you want to end that for you, get yourself booked into a meeting with me, results-mastery.com. I look forward to speaking to you. If you've got any questions, please add them to the chat. I'm just going to open the chat up. I'll leave it for a couple of minutes just while I'm finishing off. And if you have got any questions, then feel free to ask. If not, as I say, get yourself booked in. It'll be the best decision you ever make. I will not give you a hard sell at all. I'm going to help you during the meeting. I'm going to talk to you about you and your business and your marketing. And at the end of it, if you decide that, do you know what, this Steve guy can make a big difference, then get in touch. And by the way, I normally I would get at least a 10x return on investment. So if you pay me £1, I would expect to get 10 back for you. That's at least. So it's a no-brainer, isn't it, really? I've not got any questions being asked, so I'm going to go. I hope that was of value to you. Thanks very much for listening. If you're watching it on the recording, I'd love it if you'd share it with other people. Subscribe to me on YouTube, connect to me on LinkedIn, and go to my website. We've got some great free stuff on there. Read the section about frameworks. That will provide you with great value, and I look forward to welcoming you as a client in the near future. Thank you very much for listening. So thank you for listening. And if you've enjoyed this podcast, and even more, if you've benefited from it and you'd like to know more, you'd like more of my help, and you'd like to benefit from my nearly 30 years of experience working with and learning from the leading experts in the world in the area of sales and marketing, then here's what you need to do next. You need to go to my website, which is results-mastery.com, and use the gold button to book yourself a meeting on a one-to-one basis with me. Thank you very much for listening again, and I look forward to speaking to you very, very soon. Thank you.